Welcome to the Hot Chicks Write Hot Books podcast with Jenn Foster and Melanie Johnson, where authors give you their inside secret tips on how to be a successful best-selling author. Hey, Melanie Johnson here with Jenn Foster for another wonderful podcast. We want to remind you, if you like this podcast, please share it, leave us a comment, tell other people about it. We would love to hear from you. And just for that, we want to give you this free book right here, How to Write Your Story of Accomplishment and Success. It's one of our great story starter series. And you can get this book by typing your name and email to 832-575-5285. So there you go. It's a great book. 572-5285, area code 832. So, and like us on Facebook, find us at our website, Elite Online Publishing. If you're looking to write a book, publish a book, we would love to help you. We have all different tricks up our sleeve to make you a best-selling author. Today, we have someone who is part of our team who has worked with us, and we just love her. She is an outstanding ghostwriter, editor. She's an author herself. We have sent so many clients to her to help them write their book, and she has such a unique approach. Welcome, Kate. This is Kate Wright, and she's located right here in Houston.
Actually, it's Kate Frank.
Oh, Kate Frank. I'm sorry. It's Kate Wright. I think about her
My
website. Yeah, your website.
My original copywriting website is Kate Wright's Right. So my email is based on that.
Yeah, so see, that's what I see all the time.
Lots of people call me Kate Wright, so I understand.
So Kate, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got involved in writing and editing.
Well, I think I've always been a writer.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, when I was in college, I had a sophomore professor told me that I would never be a writer. He finished his sentence with, "If you don't learn to organize your thoughts." But being 18 years old, all I heard is, "You'll never be a writer." So I stopped writing. Wow. It had always been easy for me. And then in 92, a bunch of things happened that prompted me to do some writing. And I won't go into the detail on those, but bottom line, I started having people asking me to write articles for national magazines, to be in collaborative books, and all sorts of things. So obviously I must be a decent writer, And I wanted to transition from my current real estate career into writing. Mm-hmm. And, it just didn't happen. Lots of story there, but bottom line, in 2011, I realized that I did have a gift for writing, and I did have a gift from being able to get inside the brains of my clients and write for them.
And you keep their voice, which I think is really important.
Yes, that's you've seen me write for at least a half a dozen people, and each one of their books is languaged very differently.
Right.
Because they're very different people with a very different message. And I don't say that that's me. I say that's my higher power. That's the gift I got. That's the gift I got.
I love that. So Kate, what you are to us is what we call a ghostwriter.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't really understand what that means. So tell a little bit about what that means. And I love how you're talking about keeping their voice, because you do a really good job with that.
Thank you. Thank you. For anybody that really wants the long story on that, or a longer story on that, I have an ebook that they can download. Just go to collaborativeghostwriter.com and you can download the ebook. And it's 42 pages that explains not only how many people use a ghostwriter, a lot more than you think. How many, the difference between a ghostwriter and a co-writer or co-author, the difference between an editor and a ghostwriter. I describe 5 different kinds of editing, and ghostwriting is a 6th. So that's explained. I explain a little bit about the publishing industry, but bottom line, what that book allows people to do is to get a real clear idea on what it means to be an author in today's digital world. So that's collaborativeghostwriter.com. Download the book. learn a lot there. And bottom line, a ghostwriter is hired by the author client to create content that they would write if they had time. Sometimes it's if they were a writer. But the bottom line is, most of my clients, the reason why they hire me, I mean, my latest client that came on board is an excellent writer. He just doesn't have the beginnings of time. He doesn't have time to do the work, to work with me, much less to write the book.
Right.
So, you know, it's that executive level author that needs somebody like me to put their words on the page.
Right. Well,
took me some time to convince this guy that I could write.
Yeah.
Even with all the things that you've done, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really important what you said about it's a digital world. Melanie and I were just talking about this. It's the year 2017. Let's just go ahead and date this podcast. 2017 right now, and it's a digital world. So a lot of people have no time, and a lot of people are busy. And when they can use someone like you and hire someone like you, and I love that you have that book to explain everything. So I recommend everyone go and get that book so you can understand how the publishing world works today. It's way different than it was even 10 years ago and 20 years ago.
And things are getting more and more digital, not less and less.
Yeah.
So you got to keep up with the learning curve is so hard. Tell us, searching for a ghostwriter can even be overwhelming. You want to write a book, and finding a publisher, it's like, what do I look for? But what should they look for when they're trying to find a ghostwriter? They're starting from scratch. They may live anywhere in the country. What key things that they should look out for, like maybe fatal mistakes and the things they should definitely get?
Melanie, sometimes I think I'm the only ghostwriter that does this. But whether they consider me an editor to begin with, or if they already know that I'm a ghostwriter for them, then they need to know what I'm going to use with their materials, how it's going to look in the book. So they say, I'm talking to 3 editors, or I'm talking to 3 ghostwriters. I say, wonderful. Just so you'll have a good information about who to hire, ask each one of us to write a sample. So I write a sample of somewhere between 400 and 700 words of how their content is going to look in the book.
That's a great suggestion.
And I can't think of a single one that's hired somebody else, except I've had 2 people that told me I was the Rolls Royce, but they could only afford the Chevrolet. So, okay.
Yeah.
We'll make our choices. And of course, every time that they did that, I thought in terms of the fact that these are people that are using a book as their calling card for their high-end business. And which one is likely to get you high-end business? A Chevrolet or a Rolls Royce?
That's right.
Find the money.
Yeah.
Find the money.
Well, like you say, with one client, we tell people to the whole process, the editing, ghostwriting, and publishing. If you get one client from that, what is the value of one client, not just the one time, but the course over a lifetime that would pay for that? What are a couple other things they should look for? And I love the thing about having them do a sample, because if they won't even do a sample, they need to be crossed off your list.
Exactly. And an awful lot of ghostwriters will refuse to do it.
Interesting.
And editors. So because they say, I get paid to do this.
Yeah. But 400 or 600 words is just like not even a page.
Well, it takes time. I would say
true.
that it takes me a good hour to put that sample together. But, it's an investment in my mind.
Right.
Well, and I think that sample really is going to tell them what their book's going to be like.
Exactly.
So if they don't get that sample, how are they going to know they're going to have a great product when they're done, or a great book?
Right.
Well, unfortunately, an awful lot of people choose a ghostwriter, Jen, by looking at their credentials, looking at what degrees they have, how many years they've been ghostwriting, those kind of resume type of credentials. In my mind, it's all a moot point.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone up against people with master's degrees in writing and gotten the job. So if you don't look good, it doesn't matter what their resume looks like.
Right. That's right.
It's about a reflection of you. Who makes you look the best
Mm-hmm.
to your ultimate reader?
For sure.
And if you have to look at degrees and years of doing it as the criteria for your
Mm-hmm.
decision, then you're not the best client for me anyway.
Right.
Bottom line. So, I wanted to make a comment about the digital. What a lot of authors don't understand, especially if they've got a rather technical book that they want to write, is they don't understand that even if it's extremely information rich, extremely valuable to their readers, if they don't write it for the internet enabled reader, they're going to lose the audience. And there's certain things you need to do to reach the internet enabled reader.
Mm-hmm.
They call it a wall of words.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people won't read walls of words.
Right.
So you've got to be able to take the book and basically every paragraph to 3 paragraphs or so, put in a subheadline to where the reader can scan the pages, pick up the subheadlines, and then decide whether they want to read the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do that, then it's got limited value to your reader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are in the scanning world. I mean,
Yes.
our news comes in headline chunks on the internet.
Mhm.
Everything is in small bites. And if you can just scan through and you can see 2, 3 headlines, even on one page, all of a sudden you get that information if you don't have time to sit in this overwhelmed world. That's
You
great
at least
advice.
put it on your someday aisle.
That's right. But just picking it up, I mean, I just bought a book, and I was scanning through it, and I have to say it was kind of daunting because it was more of a wall of words, and I just thought I was supposed to buy it because I was listening to a video in the morning, they mentioned the book title. I went to a conference, they mentioned the same book, and I thought, I guess I need to buy that book. And it's a well-received book, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's the wall of words. I can't just scan through it. So I was like, I had to, which is more appealing when I could just scan through things and get some inputs and stop somewhere and say, it really interests me. I'm doing it.
Well, that's exactly why I got started in ghostwriting. You know, I would go to events and see public speakers that had dynamic, incredible information. They had a book in the back of the room, and I'd buy that book. I'd take it home and I'd go, ugh, this is too hard. First of all, it's a wall of words. And secondly, it's written for people college level or above.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I want you to talk about
I
that.
was going to bring that up too.
Yeah.
I have lots of PhD friends. They don't want to read your doctoral thesis.
Yeah.
They want to read something that is internet ready. And internet ready means it's at least 8th grade or below. The most popular books are 5th and 6th grade. Like Hemingway wrote at the 4th grade level.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, to me, that was shocking. When you first told me that information, I was shocked by the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. Anywhere from 4th to 5th grade level up to 8th grade level is the pocket that you should be in is the most readable and simple. I guess because it doesn't tax your brain as much.
Exactly. They get the information without having to work.
Yeah.
They don't buy a book to work.
Well, and even if it's a complex, and even if it's a really hard subject or a subject that only a specific niche will read, you still want to have that simplicity about the book and the headings and the titles, because those people are busy. I mean, even if they are that level and they're really into it, and the specific niche you're writing about, they still don't have a lot of time. So they still want the internet ready book that they can look at the headlines. I actually just bought a course on speed reading from a really great company, IQ. And my daughter's learning it, and it is all about scanning. It is all about reading those headlines and reading the in between.
The skill you need today.
Yeah.
Because even though digital is supposed to make our life easier, it seems like we just keep trying to do more and more and more. Like you think it would be faster and we would have more free time. I find I have less free time.
Well, used to you would go to a job, you'd work 8 hours a day, You'd come home, a lot of people would just veg out on the TV.
Yeah.
Well, today, that same person probably works 10 hours or more. Then when they get home, they sit in front of the TV with the tablet in their lap.
Yes. That's right.
And they're
Do that all
doing
the
2 or
time.
3 things at once.
Yeah, so I feel guilty. I didn't get maybe enough done today. That especially when you work for yourself, the days just kind of blur into your nights that you're wanting to do stuff. And and with our business, we just love what we do. We're very passionate about it. And the time just eclipses. All of a sudden you're like, oh, and you look forward to doing it, but still you've got to, it's nice to have that switch.
And even if you're not working, even if you're entertaining yourself, watching TV and playing internet games is how I disengage my brain from the business.
Yeah.
But if I'm not able to play a game while I'm watching TV, I can't stand it.
Yeah. So tell me, you write a lot of, or ghostwriter, I know a lot of nonfiction. I know you do fiction too, but.
No, I don't.
Oh, you just do strictly nonfiction?
Strictly
nonfiction. Shows what I know. So of the nonfiction, I want you to tell, in your opinion, why you think it's important for a business person to write a book for their business.
Well, I'm actually developing a new website right now. It's going to be, and you're not going to find it right now, but maybe somebody listening a month from now will look it up. It's authorityredefined.com, because what I know is who I serve best are already authorities. They're already experts. They're already looked to for what they know, whether they be a physician, whether they be a public speaker, the owner of a company, or an entrepreneur that has figured out how to get ahead. They all have an expertise that they're sharing with people. And right now, before they have a book, they're sharing with people one-on-one, or maybe small groups, or maybe in snippets of time, like your physicians do. You know, I'm talking to a cardiologist, and I mean, he is so heartbroken that he has all this knowledge. Yeah. And he only has this much time to talk to the heart patients about what they need to do. So with a book, he can talk to those heart patients like he would his brother-in-law. Right. You know, he can just have a conversation with them and give them all the information. And I think that the clients I work best with are the people that are that quality of an expert.
And think about it, he's trying to tell the same thing to each person that walks in over and over again. One strategy is, when we have clients like that, is to send, they have an appointment, they get the book before they arrive to the appointment, so they can scan through it, read it, and then when they get there, they already have developed questions and know what to expect. And then they have it afterwards. It's just such a great tool. And on top of it, then they have the book on Amazon, and it's available to the world, that they can have to attract other new patients and new clients as well. And it raises their authority expertise in the mind's eye that they can charge more for their prices.
And it goes way beyond that. Most people that have reached the age of, say, 50, have reached very close to the pinnacle of their professional career. They don't have a whole lot farther to go in what they're doing, even though they know so much. They can use that book to redefine themselves and be a workshop presenter, be a public speaker, go to conventions and be a speaker there, to take that level of expertise into a whole new career that they may enjoy a lot more than continuing to be who they are now. There comes a certain level of dissatisfaction with the status quo when you reach a certain age and a certain level of expertise. And that's the kind of people that I like to work with. And I'm going to tell you real quickly, one of the things that I do for that type of person is they typically have at least 2, if not 5 or 6 books in them. And it is smart for them to figure out exactly which book to write. And I have a method for coaching them through that. I have a coaching program. I only charge $5.99 for it. And if they end up working with me as their ghostwriter, then they get all of that back.
Great deal.
But it is a program where I have them download all of their ideas that they would put in a book that wouldn't fit in a book. And then one of the things that we do that's extremely important is to then figure out who wants to read the book and who has the best potential for paying well for what you know. Because if you can figure out who that audience is that will pay you the best, then you can, and you write your book specifically to this small audience, then you have the expertise and you have the exposure. I know there's a better word for that, but you're seen as an expert already. So if you write a book on all those other topics that you wanted to put in your book, then they have more value.
Right.
You know, you're more likely to write a book read a book from Dr. Phil than Dr. Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
You know, it's a matter of your first book is critical to set the stage for the world.
Right.
And way too many people publish a book, then figure out how to market it. And that's just so wrong.
Right. You got to have that marketing plan first before you start writing the book and understand how it's going to work and how it's going to play out. It's almost like saying, let's go on a road trip, and then not having a map or even knowing where you're going to go.
Well, actually, I like those kind of road trips.
Well, like we say for a book, they're just wrong for a book though. But for a book, we like to start marketing before the book's going to come out, start to get some traction, start to build the excitement, let people know it's happening. And then they start talking, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were going to be an author. Oh my gosh, you're writing a book. So you start to generate that and build your list. So by the time that you launch it, then you've already created this and excitement and built this list. So and then continue it on afterwards. But you have to start ahead of time. So if you are thinking of writing a book and you know you're going to have a book coming out within the next year or the next 6 months, then you need to start setting yourself up and branding yourself as that author to come and branding that book and getting the word out. So it's been a great interview. Thank you so much, Kate.
You're very welcome.
Tell us one more time where people can find you to work with you.
Well, my primary ghostwriting site right now is authorlegacyresource.com. Now, I know I'm being confusing because I actually have 4 different websites, but if you want to learn about me and my ghostwriting, authorlegacyresource.com is the one that goes into more explanation of that.
Okay, terrific. Terrific.
We'll put the link up at the bottom of the screen. And thank you so much, Kate, for being on our show.
You're welcome. It's my honor.
So if you like the show, please leave us comments, share, subscribe to us. We would love to have you follow us. We have a lot of great content, especially for writers. We really focus on that as well as experts and authorities in their field. And don't forget to get your free book, How to Write Your Story of Accomplishment. Just text your name and phone number to 832-572-5285. And our website is Elite Online Publishing. If you would like to help us, we would love to help you write your book, publish your book, have Kate ghostwrite it, we'll publish it. And we have to say, all of our authors, we do such a great job, not to pat ourselves on the back, but it's true. We do such a great job marketing and promoting our authors that every single book that we have published has become a #1 bestseller on Amazon. So looking forward to talking to you guys next time with another great interview. Talk to you later.
Way to the beach to write your book.